Rick and Morty Season 8, Episode 2 quick review. 6 out of 10. A pretty standard and straightforward sci fi adventure and plot where Rick noticeably just kind of goes along with it instead of, fucking everything up or just being an asshole about it. Rick plays it straight, I guess, because that's where Beth is in her life. She hasn't gotten to the point where Rick was at his worst, plagued by the inescapable nihilism and inability to form real attachments. Or another way of saying that is that at this point, Beth still clearly cares about something. She's part of a Star Wars rebellion. Rick can see that, and he doesn't want to ruin it for her. Pretty sure, like in the earlier seasons, he kind of remarks about having a similar hero phase or something.
My daughter, having space adventures. They are skewing a tad Star Wars-y, though. Don't forget to have fun. It's your hero phase. I had one too. You'll outgrow it.
No, you did.
But all the way up in Season 8, now that Rick is on the other end of some character development, he can essentially just let Beth have her sci-fi adventure phase without mocking it the whole way through, maybe. And there is also a level of him not wanting shit to get too dangerous for his daughter, since he clearly still cares about her and Earth Beth. So, saving her when she calls him is a given, and maybe so is making sure the mission gets done and knocking the bug people down a few pegs before they can really start threatening Beth and the Star Wars rebel group. I ended up kind of enjoying that it was played straight. I liked Rick's characterization. It was his way of being supportive, but I'm willing to concede there's like just a noticeable lack of B plot or really any element that compounds on the story to make it interesting. It's a completely bog standard sci-fi plot. I think the episode could have been easier to digest. Maybe have Morty and Summer get up to some hijinks, or a completely mundane Jerry B plot about him doing some completely regular innocuous Earth shit, while meanwhile Space Beth and Rick are in the middle of their Star Wars adventure, have kind of a fun play on the gravity of their situations. Overall it didn't have that. It doesn't need that specifically, but just B plot in general. It's a 6 out of 10 because it's hard to call it an egregiously bad episode, but it was kind of boring, at the end of the day. I enjoyed watching it, but I'm not gonna want to rewatch that. Nothing happened. I don't know. It it seems like one that's going to be hard to rewatch later. There isn't any real joke or reoccurring plot thread that got to me. The premise is basic. It's not super interesting compared to normal Rick and Morty levels. Even it was an okay episode of a sci-fi show, but it's not a good Rick and Morty episode. It's not what I've come to expect after like 8 seasons of watching this show. It's the exact kind of gimmicky adventure that Rick would have made fun of a few seasons ago, which is why it feels so like tonally inconsistent with the rest of the show. It's the Vindicator episode if the Vindicator episode was actually about stopping World Ender without any of Rick's shenanigans that gave the episode some kind of depth. Like it's so straightforward. The 3 seasons ago, Rick would have instantly transmuted an antivirus in like the first 5 minutes, and the entire episode would have spiraled into some kind of repetitive journey where Beth has to face the same issues Rick did after Rick had his hero phase. Because we know Space Beth has been up here doing this shit for a long time now. Not like a long time, but it's been a few seasons. It would have been an opportunity for like an overlapping story and character development where, calling Rick to save the day is just the introduction. It's just an excuse to get these characters together, and then we get to see what quote unquote is really going on. Usually the cold open of the episode is not what the entire episode is about, which made it feel a little strange going through it. You keep sitting there throughout the whole episode wondering, like, okay, so is this really it? Is this all that's going on? Is there going to be like something else coming up? And it just kind of didn't. What we got with the premise in the cold open is just the rest of the cold open. I feel like that usually doesn't happen in such a straightforward manner. We got a somewhat generic sci-fi adventure with Rick and Morty characters like kind of slapped in it, pasted on top. So 6 out of 10, not a bad episode, but not a notable one, and it's never going to be up for a rewatch because I'm like, oh yeah, I really love that episode where nothing happened, and it was just a completely fucking normal ass adventure with no character development and nothing that really made me laugh. So I don't know. I'll rewatch it if I rewatch the entirety of season 8, but this is just going to be one of those episodes that you kind of forget about. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching.